Hi, I'm Marion Hagstrom. This is my Genealogy Multimedia Generations project. For this, I will be interviewing my dad, Eric Hagstrom, my granddad, Francis Melt, and my grandpa, Richard Hagstrom. My first interview will be with my dad, Eric Hagstrom. I'll be asking him questions to get his perspective on immigration and how his experiences and people he encountered shaped his view. Daddy, where were you born?
I was born in DeLand, Florida.
What year?
I was born in 1973.
What country did your grandparents or great-grandparents immigrate from?
My great-great-grandparents came over from Sweden.
When?
I would imagine it was in the 1800s.
What stories did they tell you?
They didn't tell me anything. They were long gone. But my grandparents or grandmother would tell me stories she heard about when they did arrive in Astor in Central Florida. They came down on a paddle boat from Jacksonville, Florida, looking for a place to live. And she said that some of the stories that were passed along was of my great grandfather. Whenever he was a baby, his name was Albin, and he would always complain about the white sand burning his feet. So that's one story that I have heard.
Is that Albin Hagstrom as in like the...
Correct, right. That's
Cool.
Albin Hagstrom, where I work.
Cool.
Yep.
Do you have any stories from the time when you dealt with an immigrant?
Well, I deal with immigrants daily. Our family business is the firm business, and we have a lot of labor that comes in from Mexico. And so we deal with immigrants every day. And so, yeah.
What about the language barriers? Do they know English?
Language barriers is our main problem. Most of the people that come from Mexico, they don't know English, and I don't know Spanish. So it's hard for us to communicate easily, but we always try to figure out a way to communicate with each other, and they're very smart people, and we always find out a way to let each other know what we're thinking.
Have you ever gone to another country?
Yes, I have been to New Zealand, I've been to Canada, I have been to Holland and Germany, those four.
What kinds of food were there?
Food. In New Zealand, they have a lot of cattle, a lot of sheep. Their diet is a lot of meats, like steaks.
You love steak, I know that.
It's a diet that's similar to the United States. In Holland and Germany, their diet was very, a lot of fish. They love fish, and I'm not a real big fan of fish, so I was always looking for a McDonald's or something like that.
Do they eat fish eyes there?
Yeah, they eat the whole fish, the whole fish.
And that's it. Thank you for your time.
You're welcome.
My second interview will be with my granddad, Francis Melt. I will be asking him questions to get his view on immigration and how his experiences and people he encountered shaped his perspective. Where you were born?
I was born in Dade City, Florida on March 21st, 1941. And I was actually born at home and not in a hospital. And that was not unusual in those days. A lot of people were born at home.
What country did your grandparents or great-grandparents immigrate from?
My great-grandparents immigrated from England to New York. Then my great-granddad came down to Tampa, Florida. And ever since then, all of us have been Floridians and from the great state of Florida.
When did your parents immigrate from England to the USA?
When did they immigrate? It would have been in the 1800s. I do not know exactly when it was. I'd say like 1880 probably.
Have you ever experienced a language barrier in the U.S.?
Yes, I have, and it's mainly been like with when I was trying to make reservations at hotels or talk with people on the telephone, or sometimes clerks in stores. If they have a heavy accent, I've had problems with it. But I've always worked through it or let my wife handle it.
Have you ever gone to another country?
I have been to Canada just for a short afternoon visit to Niagara Falls, which is a very nice, interesting trip. And then I've been to Bahamas twice with my granddaughters on the Disney cruise, The Dream, which I enjoyed very much, and we were there for 4 days.
Do you have any stories from that country?
At Niagara Falls, it was just the overwhelming of the falls and the beauty of it and the power of it. And then at the Bahamas, it was just totally fun with my granddaughters, and we went parasailing and, just did all the cool things that you do with your granddaughters.
Is there anywhere you want to go?
Anywhere I want to go? Yes, I want to go back to Disney with my grandchildren. I really enjoy that, and I would love to go on another cruise with them. That was a lot of fun and very enjoyable.
Have you ever tasted any different cultured food?
Yes, I've had Mexican food, which I enjoyed. I had French food, which I enjoyed. And seems like there is another one that I really, Italian. I really enjoy Italian food. So that's about the three.
That's it. I hope you guys enjoyed it. For my last interview, I'll be interviewing Richard Hagstrom, my grandpa. Where were you born?
I was born in DeLand, Florida, in a hospital, and spent most of my life living in Pearson, Florida.
What year?
I was born in 1935 on May the 11th.
What country did your grandparents or great-grandparents immigrate from?
They immigrated from Sweden and back in the 1800s, and kind of a novelty thing. Our last name is Hagstrom, but for some reason their original name was Larson, and when they got over in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, it was common, if you wanted to change your name, you took the name of the captain of the boat. Well, his name was Hagstrom. So we can't go back any further than the middle of the Atlantic Ocean because our original name was Larson, but it's now Hagstrom.
When was that?
Well, that was in the 1800s, early 1800s.
Do you have any stories from a time when you dealt with an immigrant?
Well, I work an awful lot of immigrants. I work probably 250, and I have the most admiration for them, more admiration for them than I have anybody. They're the hardest working people. They're honest. They're loyal. And in 1973, the fern business, which I'm a fern grower, we didn't have enough labor. We had run out of labor. Our fern business had expanded. The industry within itself in the 3-county area had expanded to the point where we just didn't have enough labor. So 3 companies, which I was one of, flew to McAllen, Texas, and interviewed some Mexicans that lived in McAllen. And back then, everybody was more migrant, and they moved around from season to season, working in vegetables and fruit and whatever that they could do. And so we told them that we had something 365 days out of the year. We had work for them, and that there was good work here in the area. So we came back with very little hope. They listened, but they didn't give us any hope at all that anybody was interested in coming to Pearson, Florida. So about 6 months went by, and I got a call one night at 10:30 at night. I was in bed, and they said, we got 4 truckloads of Mexicans ready to go to work at the Handyway in Pearson. Well, I about died because I had no place for them to live, didn't have any rentals, didn't have anything. So Curtis Richardson and myself went up there and talked to him, and we took 2 families and he took 2 families. And that was the start of the migrants coming and working year-round in the Pearson, Seville, Crescent City, DeLand area.
Have you ever experienced a language barrier in the U.S.?
Have I done what?
Have you ever experienced a language barrier in the U.S.?
Oh yeah, I experience it every day because I cannot speak Spanish. I should have learned because I've had 30 years to learn it, but I never have. And it gives me problems sometimes, but I usually have interpreters that help me. But most of my people that now work for us in our firm business can either understand English enough that we can get by, because most of them have been here for quite a few years. I know I have some people that have been here now over 30 years.
Have you ever gone to another country?
Yes, as I said before, I'm in the firm business, so I've been to Europe many, many times calling on customers. And Germany and Holland and Italy. And we also had a farm that we started in 1973 in Costa Rica. And we ran that farm growing leather leaf for about 7 years and then sold it. And we went back and in about the middle 80s and started another farm, which we ran it for a few years, and then we've sold it too. So we don't have a farm any longer in Costa Rica, but I have been to several countries.
How long were you there in one of your countries?
I was in Costa Rica off and on the longest, which would have been about 15 years.
Do you have any stories from that country?
No, not a lot, other than it's a beautiful country, and we were very successful in growing good quality leather leaf that Germany and Holland demanded. And but I say I was there for 15 years. I wasn't there constantly for that long. I was in and out on business.
Have you ever tasted any different culture food?
Oh yeah, I've naturally being in those countries, then I've had several different types of food. Nothing that I can put my finger on. One thing I do remember, the first time I ever had any escargots, which is actually a snail, fried snail in butter, was in Costa Rica, and I did not know what that was. The restaurant was called Escargots. So my wife and I went in and we saw them on the menu and we ordered them, and they were very delicious. And of course I've had them many times since then.
Well, that's it, everyone. I hope you liked my interviews with all my family. Thanks for watching. Bye. Hi, I'm Marion Hagstrom. I will be interviewing. Hi, I'm Marion Hagstrom. You dealt with it. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
That was the
it's fine.
fourth question.
That's fine. Keep going.
No.
We can fix this.
Okay,
let's start over.
I can't see me. Can't see.